Next, it is time for the Diamond Hill Incorporated Top Performance, where we celebrate a group of individuals, a unit, a team, something like that. Diamond Hill Incorporated is celebrating their 20th anniversary here in Delaware this year. For 20 years, they've been serving all of the state and the surrounding areas in all things construction, from commercial concrete and site development to residential projects. They have you covered. You can email info@diamondhillinc.com for more information. That's info@diamondhillinc.com. And the owner of Diamond Hill, Michael Sheehan, wants to wish everyone best wishes for a great season, the latter part of the season now in the fall, but of course year round. He was a multi-sport athlete at St. Elizabeth himself, and we appreciate the sponsorship of Diamond Hill Incorporated. Marty, I'll go first, and then you can go yours. I've got the Red Lion defense. They came out with a 14-13 win over DMA, gave up 13 points in the first half. Assistant head coach of the defense is Jay Stewart, obviously made some adjustments at halftime, so I want to give him some credit. Marty mentioned some of them already. Carter Soreka had 17 tackles. Jack Wilson had 15 tackles. Jadea Barber had an interception and 5 tackles. And Shane Caleb had 12 tackles and 3 sacks. And, of course, Carter Soreka, you mentioned, Marty, blocked the field goal, what would have been a game-winning field goal late in the game. So my Diamond Hill Incorporated top performance for week number 6 is the Red Lion defense from top to bottom. And by top, I mean the assistant head coach of defense, Jay Stewart. And, of course, head coach Ken Anderson had a say at halftime, I'm sure, as well. And not only those players that I mentioned, but the entire Red Lion defense for coming up huge in the second half and getting a big win for Red Lion.
Well, I'll run through these quickly. I have 5 defenses. First of all, I'll start with the game we already talked about, Newark and Howard's defenses. Nobody saw an 8-3 game coming. A lot of it was due in part to these defenses that had been really tested and taken advantage of at different points of the season, boning up both of them and coming up really strong in a fun, entertaining 8-3 game. Sally's defense, I got a note from Gene Deladon on Saturday, and I'm looking at these statistics. They won 49-0 over William Penn, which by itself, I was surprised at that score. I thought William Penn would that would be a more competitive game. They allowed 15 yards the entire game, 15 yards. So that has to be celebrated. The Glasgow defense, Ricky Brown, and I'll verify this with you because it looked like the stats they sent. So let's say 6 takeaways and 3 defensive touchdowns.
I saw 6 takeaways.
Okay,
I didn't see the touchdown part of that, but
there was a comma and then 3 touchdowns, and it made it look like and we'll there's no stats on the site, unfortunately, for right now, but. Okay, well, the 6 takeaways is enough for me to get Ricky Brown's first game. And if they had the 3 defensive TDs, even more power to them. But the 6 takeaways is good enough.
Marty, I pulled up his text. He sent me this morning, and I'm gonna have to say I do have to agree with you. Defensively, 6 takeaways, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
is what he said.
What it looks like.
So that's what it looks like.
We'll go with
didn't clarify how they scored them, but it doesn't matter. 3 touchdowns on defense is pretty good.
That's right. My last one is the Middletown defense. And everybody can groan and say, oh, God, why Middletown? They were only up by 3 points at halftime over Hodgson. Hodgson looked like they were going to get blown out. They came back and put a great end of the first half together. They're down by 3 points. Middletown defense allowed 1 Hodgson first down in the second half. They really clamped down defensively and just was again, a well-played game by 2 teams that have still pretty high aspirations. I look at that game and I look at Hodgson and I think they still got a shot. This is a game where they found out about themselves, but got to give credit to the Middletown defense for their performance in the second half and kind of pulling away a bit.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring up Austin Troyer, Marty, since you mentioned the Middletown Hodgson game. I was at that game. Troyer's impressive. He looks like a quarterback, and I've seen him on tape. It's one thing to watch him on tape; it's different to see him in person and what they see. You can't tell watching live streams, no matter how good the broadcast is, what he's actually seeing on the field. But just very impressed with him. And Hodgson, they're real close, Marty. They're a couple mistakes away in that game from that game going down to the wire. Almost a pick 6 went right through the defender's hands, would have been an instant touchdown, which would have actually given Hodgson the lead at that point. And so if I remember correctly, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is Hodgson is right there. And like I said, if I'm ranking teams Hotson's number 5 in Class 3 right now, right behind Sally's. And so that's Coach
Agreed.
Dave Collins has done a great job with that program.